Hey everybody, welcome back to Hot Fuss. I'm Hannah.
I'm Andy, and I'm crazy excited about this show because I have so much to say. But first, I want to introduce to you Shae Shae LaReese, who is our guest today. We actually have a funny story about how we're connected. Actually, it's our first time meeting.
Yes,
tonight.
actually, I met Andy at the club in Main Street in Laguna Beach, and I was just there on my birthday on February 28th, and I knew that the music sounded really different. I was like, oh, there's something new here. Of course, there's a new DJ. And so it's really small world because on Tuesday, I got a text from one of my girlfriends from Tucson. Her name is China Collins, who happens to be very good friends of Andy when Andy worked at IBT's. And so this morning when I was asked by my roommate to be part of this interview today, I called her and she's like, oh, I know him so well, blah, blah, blah. So it's a small world that actually I'm here. And the subject that she texted me about Tuesday morning was about Roseanne, and that's why we're here today.
Right, in China, I met in Tucson, Arizona at a place called IBT's. And so that's how we met each other. It was really funny because she always calls me her husband. And
still does.
She still does.
I thought you were my husband.
I miss you, China! And Diva, too. And Janae, of course. And everybody at IBT's. I miss Tucson in general. But, yeah. So
here we are.
So we're going to talk about the whole Roseanne situation, the tweet that she had put out. And in case you haven't seen it, we're going to put it up for you right now. That's the tweet that she put out a few days ago. So what do you guys think?
Well, from what I understood now, I don't think that she knew that his assistant was black. Is that correct?
She didn't.
She thought she was white.
She thought she was Jewish.
Okay.
And something else.
Okay.
Yeah. She
right.
allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right.
I don't buy that for 1 minute because of her whole Planet of the Apes thing. I mean, it's just.
Right.
I think it's.
But,
I think she knew she's black, and she thought she was being funny, and it wasn't.
Well,
funny.
she's always like that. Yeah. I mean, I would personally think it was offensive, really. Me, for example, for myself, like in our community, I'm always when we make posts on Facebook and things like that, and there's some people that are not in the national level like I am. I do national beauty pageants, so we always have to be careful what we say on Facebook and posting stuff because people look up to us like we're like celebrities, like they are in our gay world. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just don't get paid. Well, they get paid, but unless you're RuPaul's Drag Race. But so we have to be careful what we say because we have followers that follows us to our shows. And for example, for me, I keeps it really real and stuff, but I never would say anything because I'm not white and so I'm ethnic. So I don't believe in. I grew up with black kids that know me, show me how to dance. So I'm not racist by no means. So you just have to be careful what you say because it reflects back on your career, and as well on hers is really it's hurting her job. So
well, Andy, I want to hear what you have to say because
you have a lot to say.
You have a lot to say. I know you have a lot to say, and you've been keeping it from me. So
I do have a lot to say. I want to pull up the comment about the Planet of the Apes that you were saying.
Okay.
Give me a second. A few years ago in 2013, she did say Susan Rice is a man with big swinging ape balls. And so a couple of things I want to say, well, a lot of things. I have a lot of points. And so the first thing I want to say is, ABC canceled her because of this tweet. However, she's already tweeted stuff like this in the past. So if this was, something that offended their values, they wouldn't have hired her in the first place. That's my first point. So ABC, you should have done your research, which I'm sure you already knew. You didn't care, is the point. That's my first thing. Secondly, she did apologize. Her tweet, which we'll put up right now, which was the apology to Valerie, says, I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and to all Americans. I am truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me. My joke wasn't bad taste. In addition, she said, I'm not a racist. I never was, and I never will be. One stupid joke in a lifetime of fighting for civil rights for all minorities against network studios at the expense of my nervous system, family, wealth will never be taken from me. And then she actually tweeted to Valerie Jarrett herself. She said, I don't know if you saw it, but I wanted to apologize to you for hurting and upsetting you with an insensitive and tasteless tweet. I am truly sorry. My whole life has been about fighting racism. I made a terrible mistake which caused hundreds of people to lose their jobs. So sorry. So first of all, let me just say I'm very passionate about what's happening right now for several reasons. I grew up watching Roseanne. She's one of my favorites. Anybody that knows me knows that I watch Roseanne or I watch Golden Girls. These two things make me feel just complete. I can be in the worst mood. I've been severely depressed before, and I can watch these things and they lift me up. I have to say, although I don't agree necessarily with her tweet, I do believe it was a joke, first of all. Second of all, why are we so sensitive constantly? It's always 0 or 100%. There's never a balance. As soon as someone says something you don't like, I want you fired. I want you out of here. We're done. I want no discussion. I want nothing to do with you. And to me, that's not productive, because this isn't resolving any of the issues that we have right now. There is a group of people who have been suppressed, who haven't been listened to, have been shut down, that come up and vote for Donald Trump. Okay? So there's no resolve here. This isn't helping at all. Firing her for this is not helping. Secondly, and I want to show this right now because like I said, I grew up watching her. She has been an advocate for civil rights. She has been an advocate for LGBT rights this entire time. I mean, I realize that recently she's like a Trump supporter, and I think there's some mental illness that's happening there. I think she has some issues.
Well, I don't think it's fair to start diagnosing her with some kind of mental issue, this, that, the other. Secondly, when you say that ABC should have gone and done their research and this and that, we are in a completely different climate than we were back in the day when Roseanne was first aired for 10 seasons or whatever it was. It's a different time. And now these companies and these networks are actually starting to take huge leaps to address this stuff and make a stand and say, no, okay, it's not okay anymore to act this way. It's just not. And they're not going to condone it.
I agree with you, but at the same time, and if we could just show the video really quickly, I just want to show this.
I were wondering how come you don't want to kiss that girl in the play.
I don't know.
Well, is it because you're just not ready to kiss girls yet?
No.
Is she mean to you?
No.
Is she gross? Does she pick her nose and eat it? Does she have bad breath? Does she have a mustache? Does she have a whole bunch of extra arms or something?
Son, no matter what it is, you can tell us. Is it because she's black? It is, isn't it?
Well, you'll be mad if I say yes.
No, we won't.
Yes, we will. I didn't raise you to be some little bigot.
I just don't want to kiss her.
Hey, black people are just like us. They're every bit as good as us, and any people who don't think so is just a bunch of banjo-picking, cousin-dating, barefoot embarrassments to respectable white trash like us.
In addition to that, she has been an advocate of LGBT rights as well. On her show, she had several gay characters too, but here's a clip that she actually had to fight ABC to actually keep up.
You gotta hang out more often. I was thinking that too, but next time, let's leave the wives at home. You read my mind. Huh?
So, in my opinion, she has been an advocate for civil rights, for LGBT rights for a long time. I don't know what's happened to her. I don't know if it's mental illness. She's depressed. I know that. I know that she's been on medication. So I'm not going to say that that's what it is, but there was that whole Ambien thing that she was saying, and there are people who have done crazy shit on Ambien. They've cooked meals.
My ex can make chocolate chip cookies on Ambience, and I don't know how he does it, but I've seen him do it.
And does he remember?
Does he remember
making the cookies?
He does.
Oh, well then.
He does remember.
That doesn't prove my point.
He does remember. But, right. Sometimes he can burn them too. But I just think that, she was, I believe more in equality, because all the actresses and actors all believe in equality and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just think that, I just promote equality. So, there's always room for everyone. And maybe she made a bad mistake, but.
Well, it's not even that. It's the actors and public figures, celebrities, it's part of their job. It comes with a territory that they have to represent themselves
Brand.
and their brand and the network that they work for, or they do work with, however you want to put it. If you want to say that they're working for them or the network's working for the actor, whichever one it is,
Both need each other.
Both of them need each other, and they both have to work within the. I'm so tired.
Within the rules of the industry, but at the same time, they
Respect.
knew. Yeah,
It's not even rules. There's contracts. There's bound contracts. There's moral clauses that they agree to. They sign the document. It's a legal thing. You have to abide by that. When you're a public figure, it's not the same thing as going and working at Burger King and being like, okay, my job is to act a certain way while I'm here and I'm on the clock, and these are the tasks that I have to do. When you're a public figure and you have an image and a brand, you're on call 24/7, like an attorney gets on call 24/7. They're basically being paid exorbitant amounts of money so that they act right, that they do what they're supposed to do and not go...
Be professional.
Be professional.
listen, this is not the same thing. They knew who they were hiring.
It is now. Right, that's fine. But you know what?
They knew who they were hiring. They knew.
I think they were looking for
No.
a reason then. That was
Maybe.
a perfect reason.
Yes,
There was
I
a
agree.
reason to get rid of her.
I think there was an ulterior motive here.
Just the
I think
lady
it was an
didn't like
easy
her.
out for them. I do. And I believe that they, like I said, this is, if you look at her tweets, listen.
Well,
I love her-
has she said anything about that?
About what?
About there being ulterior motives in her tweets now that she's, been let go, essentially?
No, she hasn't. I've
they've
heard
cut
stuff.
ties?
My point is that she has had. There's a history here. Okay, if you look at her tweets, she's been a Trump supporter. There's conspiracy theories about the Parkland shooting and about Pizzagate and all this. It's crazy. I'm not saying that she's of sound mind, and that's why I think there's an issue there with her personally. However, I also want to say that ABC knew that they were hiring a tornado. This is her reputation. She's never not been this way. She's always been crazy, loud, outspoken. She said whatever she's wanted to say. And so for me, it's like, ABC, you should have known better. You should have known that this is who you were hiring. It does not make sense to me. Even Don Lemon said, like, why would they do this? And if I could just really quickly
Why would they do what? Why would they
hire
hire
her?
her?
Yes.
Okay.
Knowing her background.
Knowing her background.
Or her history.
And her history.
Well, what I did read an article that said that part of the reason why ABC brought Roseanne back is because they were trying to reconnect with middle America, with
The
your
fans
average
wanted her
Joe,
back.
the blue collar. It's not just the fans, it's reconnecting with the whole group of Trump supporters and the people that feel like, Hollywood has left them behind kind of thing, and now everyone's a liberal and everyone's a snowflake and this and that. So I believe from what I read that this was their attempt at kind of bringing people back together.
Because ABC is very liberal. And if you look at their other stuff like Grey's Anatomy and stuff, they're very liberal shows, and so I get that. I mean, they were trying to tap into a different type of audience.
With the climate right now, I think I don't know. I don't work for the network. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but at the same time, it's like I can see how they would bring Roseanne back on TV to bring back that crowd of middle America and Trump supporters and this, that, the other, to kind of like have somebody who has a voice that they'll listen to, maybe. You know what I mean? That, like, you're saying that she's an LGBTQ supporter.
Well, she was.
She was.
I mean, yeah.
And she was a supporter of, different races and
She
women's
employed
rights.
lots
and
of
this,
different races
right.
on her show.
So because she was that kind of supporter and that kind of positive influence.
Huge feminist.
Right, because she was that kind of positive influence, wouldn't you think that they would think, the network would think that, bringing her back might get everyone else on board and
she's changed,
get
though.
people to listen, because conservatives don't listen to us.
Well, yeah, but she's changed.
Right.
Her views have changed, and I was actually wondering a couple of years ago, like, why is she so conservative? Why is she supporting Trump? I didn't understand that. But again, my point is, instead of just shutting everyone down, firing them, getting rid of them, let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue. Let's try to understand people. Sarah Silverman had this show that she did. I'm not sure if she's still doing it, where she would actually go out into the Midwest, the South, and she, instead of saying, you know, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, I have an agenda, she would just chill with them. She would chill with these people who had completely opposing views with her. They ended up liking her and just hanging out with her. And I feel like once you do that, once you see someone as a person versus as a view or as a political party, then maybe...
Well, once you start humanizing somebody.
Right, exactly. Then you might listen to what they have to say. I do want to play this clip really quickly, if I can, from Joe Rogan and Don Lemon, just responding to the tweet, if I could, really quickly.
So I agree that, yes, this was a racist statement, and it's important, and I'm glad she's apologized. I will say that nobody is irredeemable, no matter what Hillary Clinton says. Roseanne is redeemable. Jay-Z, when he said... Because what Hillary Clinton said was that Trump...
What does this have to do with Hillary Clinton?
Has to do with the fact
You're talking about Roseanne.
Absolutely.
What does this have to do with Hillary Clinton? To give disinformation to my viewers, you are giving disinformation to the viewers. That this is not about Joy Behar.
It's about ABC News.
If you can stick with
it's about
Joy Behar
behavior
please,
by
if you can
ABC
stick with,
News.
excuse me, if you can stick with what we're talking about, Roseanne Barr, then fine. If not, I'm not continuing this.
Just everybody's excited about being outraged.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. There's controversy every 5 seconds.
There's one thing that is absolutely happening, whether people like it or not, or believe in it or not, is that people are trying to silence other people's opinions.
That's correct.
If you say something that doesn't jive with them, instead of saying, wow, this lady's kind of out there, or she's saying some shit that I'm not sure I agree with, instead of that, they're like, fire her, get her off the air, you know, boycott.
It's insane. The outrage culture is insane. It's like, do you really want someone to lose their job because you didn't like a tweet? Like how?
So outrage culture. That's where I feel like we are right now, where, you know, we are excited to be outraged by every single little thing. And it's like the thing that happened at Berkeley with Milo Yiannopoulos. As soon as they found out he was speaking there, protests, threats, all this stuff. If you have an opposing view, I don't want to hear it. And so, you know, Don Lemon, the reason I wanted to show that clip is because Carrie Sheffield, who is a conservative commentator, as soon as she was just trying to say something, he's like, stop. No, we're not going to talk about this. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And this is pushing me towards the middle, because I am not an extremist in any way, but it makes me want to get away, not be attached to the left at all, because there's so much sensitivity that people don't even want to listen to each other. And that's what drives me nuts.
Well, I don't think it's that he didn't want to listen to her and he was trying to shut her down. I think he was just trying to get her to stay on topic.
She was. She couldn't even explain herself.
Well, she was starting to talk about Hillary Clinton and some other people. She was like bringing other...
her point.
But she could have stayed focused on the situation at hand on Roseanne and not bring Hillary Clinton into it.
The point that
because
she was trying to make...
Yeah, but Hillary Clinton is, you know, a hot button for conservatives.
Right. But I'm not Hillary Clinton.
All they're gonna hear is, oh yeah, Hillary Clinton, that bitch.
I'm not a Hillary Clinton supporter, but where she was going was, you know, maybe a year ago, for example, Bill Maher used the N-word on the air. He's still employed. He still has a job. Mel Gibson, still employed, still working. I mean, come on.
Normal businesses, Fortune 500 businesses, you know, law firms, this, that, the other. There are companies that have been known. I mean, working in California especially, it's at will. You can get fired by your employer for whatever.
Absolutely.
Okay? And there are companies that if they see you tweet about something or if they see something on social media that they feel is a threat to their own business or that's not a good reflection on the business and you're working for them, they have fired people over that. That's not the first time. Yeah.
JetBlue's like, yeah.
I know there's a story with somebody that one of my relatives knew who had just gotten a job or an internship or something with PG&E, which is, you know, the electric company up in the Bay Area. And they posted something on social media. And I mean, they're on there. They have a team of people that are on there checking tweets and like checking hashtags and stuff and seeing what pops up. I mean, they hire people to do that. And so that person lost their job because of something that they posted online. That is not, it's not new. It's just new to people that have never experienced it or don't know someone that has been in that position. And now it's up front and center that,
do you guys,
there are repercussions to the things that you say and do on social media.
But isn't it, and I agree that there should be, but don't you think it's too extreme? Like, in my opinion, her it was a bad joke, I think.
It was a joke. Yeah, but she's always been like that.
Right.
So...
But shouldn't it,
I don't think she should have gotten fired.
I think
you think so?
This could have been. No, I don't.
Right,
I think this could have been a teaching lesson. If I was ABC, I would have said, this was wrong for you to do. Let's create an episode about it where we can actually have an impact on people and show them how you treat people instead of just saying, I'm going to fire you.
Suspend them or reprimand.
Yeah, do something exactly. Definitely there probably should have been some sort, because I'm sure she violated some sort of, something on the contract. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel like she did. But at the same time, that's why I don't understand. It's such a double standard, in my opinion. I mean, when comedians do this, the same thing. We had an episode a few weeks ago about Kathy Griffin when she did that whole Trump head thing, and she held him up, and she just completely was got excommunicated from the entertainment industry, and now she's slowly being welcomed back. I think eventually Roseanne will be forgiven.
She probably will.
Yeah, she probably will.
I mean,
but there's all these people that are like, off with her head, and it's like, you're fucking stupid. Listen to people.
I mean,
ask
I'm not saying off with her head, but I'm saying that
90% of America is.
I'm saying that right now in our current political climate, it's probably not a good idea to run your mouth publicly and to make racist jokes and stuff. Everyone's
there goes our First Amendment. That's what it's about. You say what you want to say, and if it's shit, which it is,
there's repercussions to it.
There's repercussions, but you can't say don't. I'm silencing you.
No one's saying that she needs to be
They
silenced.
fired her. That's silencing her.
No, she still has a voice. They didn't take her voice box out of her throat. They told her, okay, they did not rip her throat out. They said, listen, we're not going to represent you. We're not going to represent you. We're not going to do this.
I wish
Period.
someone
and whatever, if there was other stuff going on behind the scenes, we'll never know,
right.
But either way, sure, we have the right of the freedom of speech, but within reason, know that when you say something, if you tell somebody, I'm going to kill you.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is a threat, and you can go to prison for it.
I agree with you.
You can say it, but just be ready for the consequences.
I agree with you 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that I think the consequences were too extreme in this situation. I think that, we are in a position. I was watching a YouTube video the other day where they were interviewers too, and they would not even interview anybody that had nothing to do with their platform that they didn't agree with. And I see this all the time. Like I said, I mentioned Berkeley before. The reason that I'm so upset and passionate about this topic is not because of Roseanne. It's not because of the tweet. It's because of what's happening in this country. We are being taken over by, these millennials who are so fucking sensitive that they can't even have a conversation with somebody of an opposing view. They're so threatened, and maybe it's because they don't actually have a strong, they're not so.
I have to stop you right there because it was not the millennials that fired Roseanne. The people that work at ABC are much older than us.
No, I know.
Okay, so you can't blame millennials.
But I'm talking about Berkeley. I'm talking about stuff like that where it's the universities. Well, this is why a lot of comedians won't even perform at universities.
Riots are nothing new. Riots have been happening for years for different situations.
Berkeley has been known as one of the most liberal places where anybody can go. It's like the freedom of speech capital, and now no more. Can't do that anymore at Berkeley. Why? Because if you disagree with somebody else's view, we don't want to listen to you. That's not a way to resolve stuff. That's not a way to find a balance or to find a commonality with somebody. How are you going to reach a conclusion where you guys can just be friends and talk and coexist if you're just going to silence everybody around you? That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. I think people nowadays need to just grow some balls and just realize that you can have a conversation with somebody who doesn't agree with you.
It's their opinion.
Yeah, it's just an opinion.
No, okay, so nobody's saying don't speak your mind and don't.
But that's not true. That's not true, Hannah. People are saying that. The left is screaming, I don't want to hear you.
Okay, the right, because they're fed up, because the right does the same thing. I mean, how many times have the people, watch Fox News for God's sakes. Do you think they're actually having a real conversation with a liberal person? They're doing the same thing. They've been doing that. The problem is that they've been doing that for so long that now the left doesn't want to hear it anymore.
But let's be an example.
I think we've been trying to be an example, and now it's come to a head. That's the problem.
So fight fire with fire is the answer.
I think people are sick and tired. I think people are sick and tired of trying to reason with people that you can't reason with, and now they just don't want to hear it anymore. We're in a really, really just tight spot, and the climate is just like the United States is on fire right now. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel like no one can talk to anyone anymore. There's people that I personally know that I can't talk to anymore because of their views.
But that's
because I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like, it's like, why shut them down completely?
I'm not trying to shut them down.
I just can't talk to them.
I tried to talk to them, but it got to a point where it just got so heated, and like, not that I was trying to be dramatic or like, argue with them, but just trying to explain a point. But they're just so wrapped up in these rightist conspiracies and, Hillary emails and Benghazi and whatever like that I can't actually reason. Like, you cannot reason. So once you've tried to reason with these people and you can't reason with them anymore, what else are you going to do but just shut them down at that point? It's like you've had the leeway to like talk and explain and come to an understanding, and the understanding just never happened, and now it's like, what are we going to do?
I don't know if you guys
continue to try to be Jesus. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if you guys had this happen when Trump was being elected. But a lot of my liberal friends, as soon as they found out somebody was supporting Trump, they said, unfriend me. And
it was
doing that.
Yeah.
It was painful. It wasn't, George Bush. I mean, Donald Trump is like the poop on the bottom of your shoe. I mean, that's like the worst it could get, and that's our president now. The orange poop.
Well, that's another that's another point, though, is like that we hold our actors and actresses and comedians to higher standards. Like, everybody's so upset about what Roseanne said about how her tweet was racist, yet we elected them arguably one of the most racist people to the highest.
I didn't.
Well, but America did, as the highest office in this nation. I mean, we hold these people to a higher standard than this man. Like, what the is going on in this country where people just can't hold logic?
It's not that we hold actors and comedians to a higher standard. It's that there's more control there where you can actually do something. In order to impeach the president, that is not an easy thing to do, and I frankly don't think that's going to happen.
And I don't think it's the best option either for our country. Then we'd have Mike Pence as president, which is like 10 times worse than Donald Trump.
I'm depressed.
Separate issue.
Can we move on to something
This was a passionate.
People are just outspoken, honey.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm outspoken, so.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about something positive, like our artist of the week. Who's our artist of the week?
So our artist of the week is Eddie Jelinet. He is a local Los Angeles from Hollywood artist, and we have some of his work here for you now.
Eddie Jelinet's artistic career began at the early age of 10 when he was commissioned to paint his first mural in Mexico. He has won several awards and has had successful solo exhibits all over the world. He is currently working on his new project, which is a series of short films called American Pop Culture.
So you can check out Eddie's artwork by clicking on the link below, and he's also having an exhibition, and we'll post the details in the description.
So Shae Shae.
Yes.
Tell us about your drag shows and what you have coming up. And
well, I'm kind of glad to be around for the month of June because with my travels, I travel all over the country. Sometimes I always want to be here, especially in Southern California. It's summer, even though it's June is like June gloom, but it's the beginning of summer. Actually, this weekend, Memorial past weekend.
We've
and
had
it's
May gloom.
Yeah, it's like early. I'm sick of it. Yeah. And so it's exciting because last year for Gay Pride, I wasn't in town. And in Laguna, of course, we don't have much going on. In the past, we did. And so we have a nightclub called Main Street Lounge. And actually, they've never had a brunch show. And on June the 2nd at a restaurant called Mozambique, it's the first Drag Me to Brunch show. And it starts at 11 o'clock. And it's at the restaurant called Mozambique. And I'm excited about being part of that, along with Jelinet G, Wilhelmina, and it's like Ava Stone, and it's like a special guest they're actually bringing from Dallas, Texas. Her name is Raquel Blake, and she's gonna be one of the MCs on Wilhelmina. And there's another person that I can't think of what her name is. She's like the newcomer girl around here locally. So it's a really nice cast, and it's $40 per person, includes an entree and a drink. And if you buy, a dinner show? Yeah, it's more of a brunch show on Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So you have to buy tickets. If you buy tickets at the door, which most people in Orange County can afford to, it's $55 or $50, I think it is. But so that's happening on June 2nd, and of course other festivities are happening as well in Laguna. I'm actually part of a show starting in Garden Grove. They call it the Tranny Bar, but it's called the Frat House. And on June 14th, there's a show starting there now regularly by the hostess. Her name is Ruby Holiday. So actually on opening their main night on June 14th. June, of course, is the Gay Pride Month all over the country. I'm actually going to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on June 16th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They have a pride in South Dakota?
How are the boys there?
It's corn-fed.
Yum.
They're corn-fed. And they have a really nice event there. And Nasia Lopez is one of the special guests.
So they're not organic?
No. They're farm boys, honey.
Oh, right.
And then the 17th, the next day, is the Pride in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So looking forward to that. So that's what's happening for me. So
fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah, there's going to be the festival too at the Pavilion in Laguna Beach where you can come.
Yeah.
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
It's at the Pavilion, and we'll post the information below so that you can get tickets and the location. But there's going to be DJs.
So wait, is there like tickets to enter for the Gay Pride itself in Laguna Beach? Oh, okay, so it's closed off. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's closed off. You can purchase tickets. You can go see DJs. You can eat. You can drink. You can. It's just going to be.
So is it like a block party? Have they blocked? Are they blocking off like certain?
Yeah, it's a typical festival.
Did they do that last year?
No,
last year was just first time. Last year, just the Boom Boom Room was open, right?
Well, there was OC Pride last year. This is actually the first time in 24 years that there's been a Laguna Beach Pride. Which is pretty cool because Laguna Beach is like, I've said this before, but it's like the hub. It's like it's a gay mecca of sorts. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there. I'll be DJing as DJ Arrow. And we'll be there with Jonathan Alaman as well. DJing, having a good time,
3 to
drinking,
8 p.m. I think,
having a good time. Yeah, then you can go on to Main Street, party, dance.
And so how many days is it? It's
3 days.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be there on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm going to eat the food and drink the drinks and dance with
the gays.
With the gays.
What's gays?
I don't know.
Oh.
Happy people.
Yeah, happy people. I think, yeah.
June 5th is the primary election. So please, if you haven't registered to vote, please do so right now. What just happened? Huh? Did you just lick the cup?
I did. I don't want to waste any of the good old liquor, baby.
Well, you know.
It's just wine.
You know, it's not that cup.
Oh my
it's
God.
Wine.
Stop. I can't even with these guys.
Oh, I want to say something I forgot. June 8th, I forgot to have a special show. It's Robert, and have you ever been to Rich's, a nightclub in San Diego?
I've never been, but I've heard
Oh my God, it's an incredible club. It's like the number one club really that I like to go to around here, really, because it's in San Diego, and Robert Rodriguez's birthday party, and he invited me just yesterday. This is all news. Vancy Vega, Fantasia Lamore, myself, we're hosting his birthday party, and it's from 8 to 9. It's an incredible show they have on Fridays there. But specifically this weekend coming up, it's his birthday show, and there's also some kind of they always like to donate, give back to the community. They're really good about it. His name is Robert Rodriguez, so I'm just putting that out there. So
cool.
Well, maybe you can give us the link and we can put it in the description.
Absolutely, yeah, I do. I have it.
So that if people want to donate, even if they can't make it to the show, they can donate.
They always like to give back to the community, and it's really a cause that they have. Him and his lover Scott Parson, they always have for their birthdays. They just make big things to give back to the community.
That's awesome.
It's great.
That's a good way
instead
to
of just a
celebrate
party,
birthday,
you know.
Give back to the community. I'm exhausted.
I am exhausted too.
This has been fun, but oh my God, they've had a lot to share. It's like,
I'm not too exhausted to go out and party though. I think I'll do that. What about you guys?
I think we need a party now.
Yeah,
they're ready to eat. I'm sure.
We need a party after like the conversation we had today. I need to find a way to love you again.
I've been saving this conversation for like a few days now. I was like hoping not to get diarrhea from it, but like I really just had a lot to say about it.
Thank you for making me part of this.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming.
It's the first time I've done anything like this, so it was really interesting and entertaining to listen.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
One day, maybe you can come back as Shae Shae.
I would love to. Yeah, I'll get all dolled up and everything for
yes.
I would love that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
I'd be happy to.
Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and also subscribe, and you can do that by clicking on the link below. If you are an artist, then please feel free to send us your information if you want to be featured on one of our shows. This has been Hot Fuss, you guys. I'm Andy.
I'm Hannah.
Shae Shae, Eddie.
Take it.
Bye.
Bye.